Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome into another Around the Bags. This is Around the Bags edition 16. It is Tuesday, September 8th. I'm Mitch Glessner alongside, as always, Thomas Lemanske, and we're going to give you guys what's going on in the major leagues as well as some other things. But first off, we're going to lead off, as always, with where we are at. And in the American League, looking at the East, the high-powered offense of the Blue Jays, they've taken the lead now over the Yankees, but they're just ahead by a half game. That run differential is incredible for them, 192. And then their last 10, they're 7-3, and the Yankees are 8-2. So both of those teams extremely hot. That's a race we all want to look forward to as it comes down to the wire. Out in the Central, our boys in blue, the Royals, have a very good lead above the Twins at 11 games. They need to get to 15 games ahead. That would clinch the AL Central.
Almost there.
Yep, we're almost there. I think that should happen pretty soon, probably within the next couple weeks. And then you look out west, you got the Astros, and now the Rangers are starting to make a push. They're only 2 back.
Came out of nowhere.
Out of nowhere, right. And they're hot right now. They're 7-3 in their last 10, as the Astros are 4-6. Looking at the National League, you got the Mets, and they're still steadily ahead of the Nationals, which has still surprised everybody. They're 5 games ahead of the Nationals. They've done it with their pitching and their power. They've really brought it all together. Looking at the Central, probably the best division in baseball, as we've mentioned before, unbelievable. The Cardinals almost at 90 wins. They're 87-50 right now. Only 5-5 in their last 10. But then you look at the Pirates, 81-55, and then the Cubs, 79-57, led by Chris Bryant and Jake Arrieta. They've been playing phenomenally as of late. And then you look out in the NL West, you got the Dodgers and then the Giants. And the Dodgers have a very big lead. They've pulled away now. They have an 8.5 game lead above the Dodgers. That is the NL West, and that is where we stand right now in the MLB. But moving away from the MLB for just a little bit, here's a story that kind of went unnoticed, but this is pretty incredible.
Oh, yeah.
The Cincinnati's AA affiliate is the Pensacola Blue Wahoos. That's a pretty funny name. The minor league teams always have those crazy names.
Yeah.
Ray Chang, their shortstop, actually played all 9 positions in a game. He switched positions every inning. He started at first, moved around the diamond clockwise there, and then moved to the outfield clockwise, and then he finished at catcher, and then in the 8th, and then finished with pitching, in the 9th. And he actually threw a pretty good 9th inning. They went on to lose the game, but that's pretty incredible.
Yeah, definitely incredible. People don't realize how hard it is to play all 9 positions in one baseball game. But, yeah, I mean, the guy's 32 years old. He's been spending the past about 5 years in AAA and AA. He's hitting around like 260 average around there, but he just hasn't had stolen bases. He doesn't have the speed, and he doesn't hit for power. So those are a couple of things what's keeping him from getting to the big leagues. But, man, I mean, I hope he gets there someday. 9 positions in one game. I've never heard anybody do that.
Yeah, only 4 players have ever done this in history. That's pretty amazing. He said, and I quote, catching was by far the hardest by far. Mm-hmm. And I mean, that's crazy for never having ever caught a game and just to throw on the gear, and all of a sudden you're just supposed to go out and catch guys that are throwing 90 plus. That's pretty incredible.
Yeah. I mean, I caught a little in high school and as a little kid, but I mean, you're in every pitch, every play. You're there. I mean, you're either getting the ball or you're calling the pitch. You're in every play, like I said. But I don't know. I think center field might be another position who will contend with the catcher as the hardest position. That backspin, you're running down, tracking balls out in center field. You got to have speed. I mean, the center field, I think, is probably the hardest position to play.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to throw me out there, geez, I can't even imagine catching after a bit with no previous history. That's just unbelievable. But yeah, I would have to agree with you there, Thomas, that probably center field, and then I would look at the shortstop.
Yeah, I definitely agree.
Position as well.
Shortstop.
Those are probably the hardest.
Yeah, shortstop. Balls usually hit to the shortstop. But, moving on to the big leagues from the minor leagues, Matt Harvey, of the New York Mets. Some New York fans are kind of worried right now. He is on a pitch limit. His pitch limit is 180 innings, supposedly, but he's at 166 innings right now. They're in kind of dilemma right now. They're most likely going to make the playoffs, and, they got three guys, strong guys, if you include Matt Harvey, that could be workhorses for them going into the playoffs. Do you think he's going to go over the limit?
I think it just depends on the situation. But given, I look back to what the Giants did with Bumgarner. Yeah. And certain situations call for, certain actions, and managers have to make these really tough decisions. Now, Pedro Martinez from the MLB Network, he said that he should definitely probably push the envelope. He also said it does depend on the situation. But like you said, Thomas, when you got Matt Harvey and then you got Noah Syndergaard,
right,
and their pitching is just amazing, you kind of need Matt Harvey as that ace in the rotation to start things off, I would think.
Oh, no, I definitely agree. He is their ace in New York right now. And without him, they still have two good pitchers. Jacob deGrom, who has a 2.4 ERA, and they also got Noah Syndergaard with a 3.31 ERA, two really good young pitchers. But Matt Harvey right now, he's 12-7 with a 2.6 ERA, so he's the second lowest ERA on that team right now. But, if he plays, you got three really solid pitchers. Matt Harvey's definitely an ace, and Jacob deGrom is having an ace-like pitcher season. But, I definitely would pitch him. And if I was Matt Harvey, I definitely would risk it and, have him go over that pitch limit of 180 innings. But, you want to win games. And if you're the New York Mets, the offense is getting hot since Cespedes came over.
Right.
Those three pitchers, if you pitch them, that gives you the best chance to win. And, they want to win a World Series. So I'd definitely go over that limit.
Exactly, yeah. I would put Harvey there at the top, and then you got Syndergaard and deGrom. What's funny, though, looking at the Mets, is that none of those three lead the team in wins. Bartolo Colon, of all people, leads the team in wins. With a 4.18 ERA. With a 4.18 ERA. So
there you go.
I think that's hilarious. He also has the only complete game out of their staff too.
Yeah, Bartolo Colon leads the staff in innings pitched. He has 170. Jacob deGrom is right behind him with 169, and Matt Harvey has 166. So
at 42 years old, too.
Right. Yeah, that's pretty crazy. And he's got in trouble with the PED usage. I think he got suspended the whole year 1 or 2 years ago, or half the season 1 or 2 years ago. But yeah, 42 years old, and he's still going strong.
Yeah, so we'll see what the Mets do. And like you said, Thomas, they're probably going to make the playoffs as they've kind of pulled away from the Nationals. The Nationals have been flat.
Yeah.
So now moving into the playoffs, we take a look now. The postseason schedule has been released. And looking at the World Series, they're sticking with the 2-3-2 format. So that would mean that the winner of the All-Star game, which was the AL, would then play 2 games at home, then go 3 on the road, and then bring it back home for 2 more. I don't know how I feel on this. I think I kind of like this format, though, actually.
Yeah, I'm going to have to disagree with you. I don't like the format. I don't like that the away team gets 3 home games in a row. If you think about it, just say that Royals Cardinals are in the World Series this year. I guess that's the most likely scenario at this point in time. The Cardinals have the best home record in the MLB right now, and if you give them 3 straight home games, even if they win 1 game at Kauffman, and if they win 3 straight home games, they win the World Series. I don't like it at all because, if you get a team like the Cardinals who is really good at home, I think they have the advantage, and home field advantage isn't really a thing then if you're the Royals at that point.
Yeah, I think the thing for me is that the travel time, and that this lessens that travel time, because travel time does take a toll on players, not only physically but mentally. And I just think that, only having to travel basically twice, I think that makes it better for the players. I think the players can show up more ready to play and give what they are capable of doing in each game.
That you bring up a good point. But I think another thing that they could do, I know they're not going to do this anytime soon, but go to something like what the NBA does. They do that 2-2-1-1-1, which is something that we talked about. I think that, I think that's more fair towards both teams, home field advantage wise. But I mean, home field advantage, it gets determined in the All-Star game, which is that's a whole nother conversation that we've already talked about. But I think that should be changed from 2-3-2 to 2-2-1-1-1. But it worked out last year. It's been working out the past couple years or however long it's been. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, and Rob Manfred has already made some changes, obviously, with the pace of play and things like that. So,
which I love he's doing. That's a good move on his part.
Yeah, I think everything he's done so far has been nothing but good for the game.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. He could change this sooner or later, but for now, I kind of like the format.
Yeah. I mean, we're different opinions, but we'll see. But moving on to the Royals, who made the World Series last year, the Royals have been kind of on a losing streak lately, the last four. But, one thing that they have been doing, they had their September call-ups. And some guys, just to name a few, they brought up Chesler Cuthbert, Christian Colon, Terrence Gore, and they brought up the youngin Miguel Almonte, who is the number 2 prospect on the Royals. What do you think of the call-ups, Mitchell?
I think I like him for the most part. I really like Christian Colon in there. I think he's just a great overall utility guy. Honestly, I'm surprised that he didn't get more playing time during the regular season when Omar Infante was going through some struggles, because I think Christian Colon is a very solid defender. I think he can handle the bat well. He doesn't really hit for power, but definitely a guy that could get a bunt down. And I'm a huge fan of Terrence Gore. And, he's basically a one-tool player.
Yeah.
And that's his speed.
Yeah.
But you look at what he did in the postseason last year, stealing bases, him along with Dyson in that speed combo.
That's deadly, man.
I really like that.
That's deadly. Yeah, no, I definitely agree. Those are all good call-ups. And Christian Colon, just to go back to your point, they didn't think he was getting enough at-bats on the Major League team. That's why they sent him down to the minors. But he was hitting 281 at the minors, 353 on base, and 344 slugging percentage. That's some pretty good numbers. And you got Miguel Almonte. This guy's a 22-year-old from the Dominican, right-handed pitcher. He didn't have that good of a season at AAA. He had a 4.51 ERA with 103.2 innings. That was in AA and AAA this season. But electric fastball goes anywhere between 95 and even 99. So he can get up there, and he has a really good slider. He's in the top 100 prospects list, and like I said, he's the number 2 overall prospect on the Royals. But these are good prospects brought up. Chesler Cuthbert's also one that hasn't been talked about. He's been playing pretty well. These guys have been playing pretty well lately. I think it was 2 games ago. We put them in after I think we were losing by a lot, and they were playing. They were hitting the ball and making good plays on defense.
And 2 guys that we failed to mention here already, and the Royals bring in Johnny Gomes as well, and Jabba Chamberlain, who we saw the other night, and he's still got that fastball with a good velocity around 95, 96, but I really like this move in Johnny Gomes. I think Dayton Moore knows exactly what he's doing there. Johnny Gomes has been, in the past, one of the better hitters in the postseason. Right now, he's only had 15 plate appearances, so we have a very small sample size, only 3 hits, but 2 of those have been doubles, so only hitting 231 there. But he's the type of guy that he can provide pop off the bench.
Right.
Late in a game, he could be a very good pinch hitter, and he could swing the momentum of a game with just one swing of the bat.
Yeah, no, definitely. He has a really good batting average against left-handed pitchers, and like you said, it was a great move by Dayton Moore. When you think about it, who's gonna in the World Series, who's going to be the pinch hitter coming off the bench? It's not going to be Omar. Ben Zobrist was playing second. Chesler Cuthbert, Christian Colon. Those guys are pretty young, but they went out and got a guy who's legit, pinch hitter, and Johnny Gomes, who, like you said, has had a really good postseason history. Can hit lefties really well. I know. I love the move. I really love the move. He's been playing pretty well for the Royals so far, and in right field. You got Alex Rios, who had chicken pox. Who would have guessed that? And you got Gerard Dyson. So you add depth, and you add a really good pinch hitter. I like it.
Yeah, I like it too. The Royals are going to come into this postseason with a lot of depth.
Right.
They can do a lot of things. Ned Yost is not afraid to try a lot of different options. He's kind of played around with actually moving Escobar down to the bottom of the order here lately because of his struggles. But to go along with those struggles, Johnny Cueto. Johnny Cueto has been struggling. When we first got him, he had some phenomenal outings, but since then he hasn't looked too great. Let's take a listen to what Ned Yost has to say on that.
It was a struggle for him, right from the get-go. He physically feels great. Shoulder feels good, elbow feels good, back, legs. He's just going through a stretch right now. You kind of liken it to a hitter that goes into a slump. He's just grinding through it right now without any results. But these things turn around quick, and especially with a pitcher Johnny's caliber.
Yeah, you've been around a lot of great pitchers. Does it surprise you when you see, though, a 4-game stretch like this?
Well, yeah, I mean, a little bit, but you like you said, you've been around long enough to have seen it before and see, you know exactly what's going on. Are you healthy? Yes, I feel great. Okay, well, check the mechanics. Mechanics were pretty good today. All right, you're just going through one of those stretches where, nothing's going right for you. 80 pitches in 3 innings is the equivalent to 135 in 9. It's just too much of a workload. I mean, it's just too much right now. And it didn't make any sense to send him back out there and compound that.
Yeah, what do you think of Chris in the middle innings just to settle the game down?
I thought he did a great job. We've been using him a lot lately. We used him 2 days ago for 2 innings and close to 50 pitches in 3 innings today. So, I mean, he's proven to be very durable for us and a guy that comes in and gets big outs when we needed to. I mean, at that point, we needed to hold the score exactly where it was so that we could crawl back in, and Chris did a good job of that. I think Eaton ended up hitting the changeup, but besides that, 3 big innings.
So there was Ned Yost, and he talked about Johnny Cueto's struggles there a little bit, and he said that he has full confidence in Johnny that he will come back. And also a couple other guys on the team, Eric Hosmer was interviewed about it, and Eric Hosmer said basically the exact same thing, that, he has full confidence in that Johnny Cueto, this guy, he's an ace for sure, and he'll figure it out.
No, I definitely fully agree with Ned. I mean, this guy, his stats speak for himself. His career stats speak for himself. This guy is in front of the end ace guy. He's just going through a little rough patch right now, like Ned Yost said, and I think moving to the AL has something to do with that. You got better hitters, stronger hitters. I think he just has to adjust a little. He's not hitting his spots lately, but I mean, he's an ace. He's gonna get over this. Pitchers go through these stretches sometimes, but going forward, it's going to be really interesting to see what he does. I mean, if he just hits a spot, I mean, he has the stuff, fast. He has everything you need. He just needs to hit a spot, and he'll be good. Yeah,
pitchers can go through rough struggles just like hitters do.
Right.
I mean, 1 minute you're throwing the ball extremely well, and you don't want the ball to come out of your hand, and other times you're just missing your spots. And right now, Cueto, most of the time it's been with the fastball. He's still got the great slider and the changeup working for him, but when he's missing, it seems like it's always been with the fastball. And Salvi is trying to work, the inner half and the outer half, because he has the command to do that. He can command both sides of the plate. It's just wherever he sets up, the ball just ends up right out over the middle, and hitters are going to take advantage of that.
Yeah, I mean, he's a veteran, though. He's going to get over it. I mean, and he's a good pitcher in the postseason, too. So I think he's definitely going to be our front of the end rotation ace guy going to that, first postseason game.
So Cueto struggling, and we got some questions about Yordano Ventura as well. In his previous 5 starts, he posted a 1.13, and then the other night, he just did not show up one bit. He allowed a couple runs early on, and that was it for Yordano Ventura. So he had the 5 really good starts, and I think a lot of people were really high on him, moving into the postseason, because a lot of people want to see him after you go Cueto, Volquez, and then Ventura. But
Right.
I still I need to see more consistently. I don't think he's all there mentally.
Yeah. He had an off game. He gave it 4 runs, 8 hits while striking out 8. I like how he struck out 8, but like you said, he is inconsistent. He's been pitching really well his past 5 starts. Like you said, 1.13 ERA. But if he keeps pitching like this, it's going to be interesting to see how his next outing goes. But if he pitches like he has been pitching, I'm not going to worry about him at all. Pitchers have off games sometimes, just like they go through cold streaks. But yeah, I definitely think he needs to be more consistent. I agree with you right there.
Yeah, I mean the positive thing though that I see in Yordano Ventura is he is a big strikeout guy, and then when he's not striking out guys though, he's a very good ground ball pitcher.
Yeah.
So if moving into the division series, if we got to face the Blue Jays or the Yankees, those are teams that obviously
Hit bombs,
to lift the ball. Joey Bats, Josh Donaldson. Just to name a few, Alex Rodriguez,
Edwin
ton of power hitters. Those guys all like to lift the ball. So I will say the one positive thing coming away from Yordano is that he is a ground ball pitcher and a strikeout pitcher at times. So hopefully for me, he just needs to keep it all there mentally. So that about wraps it up for today. Like I said, it is Tuesday, September 8th, and we just came off Labor Day weekend holiday. Classes back in session and whatnot. But these races are heating up, especially the AL East, and the Royals are very close to clinching, which is something that we all want to hear. And we'll see where they go moving forward. Hopefully they clinch that sooner than later. But for today, this has been Around the Bag 16. I'm Mitch Glessner alongside Thomas Lemanske. Thanks for listening. Tune in for a new episode next week, and we'll see you then.